The tension between the Indiana Fever and the Minnesota Lynx had been building for weeks, and when they finally met again, all eyes were on one matchup: Lexie Hull versus Kayla McBride. The last time these two shared the floor, McBride's elbow crashed into Hull's face, leaving her bloodied and bewildered as the referees somehow punished her instead. That moment lingered, fueling frustration among Fever fans who felt the league had robbed Hull of both dignity and justice. But this time, the script flipped, and it turned into one of the most powerful redemption stories of Indiana's entire season. From the opening tip, Indiana looked like a team on a mission. Missing nearly half their rotation, they had every excuse to fold under the pressure. Caitlin Clark's groin injury ended her season. Sophie Cunningham's MCL tear, Sydney Colson's ACL, Aari McDonald's fractured foot, Khloe BBY's knee, all of it combined to gut the roster. On paper, this was a team destined to collapse. But instead, Indiana refused to quit. The Fever rattled off a 10-0 run to start the game, immediately forcing Minnesota to call timeout. And by halftime, they had doubled up the Lynx. The shots fell, the defense swarmed, and the atmosphere inside the arena shifted from nervous anticipation to confident dominance. This wasn't survival. This was a statement. Kelsey Mitchell became the heartbeat of the offense. She didn't just step into Clark's shoes, she created her own lane entirely. 20 points a night became routine, her crossovers slicing defenders apart, her pull-ups impossible to stop. Defenses keyed in on her, scouting reports screamed her name, but Mitchell still produced. Alongside her, Aaliyah Boston anchored the middle, breaking rebounding records while bullying opponents in the paint. Every possession she secured reminded the Fever that they still had stability, even with their roster stripped bare. Natasha Howard filled in the cracks, Odyssey Sims came off the bench like a spark plug, and Aerial Power's back-to-back threes felt like daggers that killed any Minnesota run before it could start. But the moment that defined the night belonged to Lexie Hull. In the second quarter, she found herself face-to-face with McBride again. This time, it wasn't McBride delivering the blow. One dribble, a hesitation, and McBride lunged the wrong way. Her balance snapped, her legs gave out, and she tumbled, while Hull's crossover sent the crowd into a frenzy. It wasn't just a highlight, it was justice. Fans leaped to their feet, teammates roared from the bench, and within minutes the clip exploded across social media. To Indiana fans, it felt like karma. To neutral fans, it was hilarious. To Hull, it was redemption. The same player who had been humiliated weeks earlier had just dropped the veteran star in front of a roaring crowd. That crossover became the symbol of everything Indiana had endured. Just like Hull, the team had been underestimated, overlooked, and shoved aside by bad calls and bad breaks. And just like Hull, they turned that adversity into fuel. Her defensive grind, the rest of the night, was just as crucial. She stuck to Minnesota's backcourt like glue, forcing contested shots and disrupting their rhythm until the Lynx looked like a shadow of their usual selves. The stat sheet didn't tell the full story, but anyone watching knew Hull had owned the matchup. Indiana walked off the court with an 83-72 win, their third straight, to close the regular season. Securing their first winning record since 2015, it was more than just numbers, it was proof of a cultural reset. The Fever weren't the punchline anymore. They were a playoff team, forged through adversity, bonded by resilience, and now fueled by momentum. Even without Clark on the floor, her presence was felt. Cameras caught her signaling timeouts, calling coverages, and coaching from the sideline. She was still the heartbeat, even in street clothes, and her teammates responded. This victory wasn't a fluke. It was controlled, it was confident, and it was emotional. And when Hull crossed up McBride, it became the lasting image of the night. Not just a clip to laugh at, but a reminder of who the Fever have become. A team that fights, a team that refuses to be disrespected, and a team ready to crash the playoff stage with something to prove. Lexie. Hull's revenge moment wasn't just personal, it was a reflection of the Fever's entire season. Knocked down, dismissed, and underestimated, yet standing taller than ever when it mattered most. Indiana enters the postseason with momentum, belief, and a new identity. And if this game is any indication, they're not just happy to be in the playoffs. They're ready to shake them up. Do you think Lexie Hull's crossover on McBride was the ultimate payback moment of the season? And how far can this resilient Fever team really go in the playoffs without Caitlin Clark on the floor? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you never miss the next breakdown.